I collapsed at work and was swiftly taken to the hospital in an ambulance. The tests revealed a serious illness, requiring emergency surgery immediately. Feeling anxious, I called my husband. I'm about to undergo surgery. I think I'll be hospitalized for about a week to monitor my progress, I told him, expecting reassurance and support. A week, huh? Well, you'll be safe in the hospital. This is a good opportunity for you to take a break, he responded, his tone tinged with something that made me uneasy. Suspicion gnawed at me. After the surgery, during my recovery in the hospital, I decided to check his credit card statements. What I discovered shocked me. He had taken advantage of my hospitalization to travel abroad with his mistress. I was furious. Determined to confront him, I focused on my recovery with remarkable speed. I couldn't wait to see the look on his face when he returned from his trip. My name is Nancy, and Tom and I have been married for a decade. Lately, our relationship had grown indifferent, as if we were merely coexisting. With no children, we both worked hard, and money was never a concern. I had believed we would peacefully retire together. However, Tom had been acting strangely for a while now. He suddenly cared about his appearance and started dressing in expensive clothes and visiting trendy salons. Where have you been getting your hair done lately? I asked one day, noticing the change. It's none of your business, he snapped back defensively. His late nights at work or on supposed business trips had become more frequent. I hadn't paid much attention until I noticed the scent of perfume on him when he returned home late. This suit smells like perfume, I remarked one evening, catching him off guard. Oh, there was a woman next to me on the subway, he stammered, his excuse unconvincing. His behavior painted a clear picture of infidelity, and I was ready to confront him as soon as I was able. When I checked our bank account, I noticed our savings had been rapidly dwindling over the past few years. It was clear to me he was likely spending it on his mistress. Questions flooded my mind. Who was she? How could I uncover the truth? And if he was indeed cheating, what should I do? As I grappled with these thoughts alone, my appetite waned, and I sank into a deepening depression. Then one day at work it all became too much. Nancy, are you all right? My colleague's voice seemed distant as I began to lose consciousness. The next time I opened my eyes, I found myself in a hospital bed. The doctor explained that stress, likely exacerbated by Tom, had caused my collapse. Further tests were recommended, and I reluctantly agreed to stay overnight. Unprepared for an extended hospital stay, I called Tom immediately. Hello, Tom. I collapsed at work and was taken to the hospital by ambulance. An ambulance? Are you in the hospital now? Yes, they want me to stay overnight for tests. It's probably just stress, I replied, avoiding the real reason. Tom sounded relieved. What? You scared me there. So you're not coming home tonight? No, the test results will come out tomorrow. All right, I got it. The hospital will take care of everything you need, right? I don't need to come, do I? Hurt by his lack of concern, I insisted. I want you here to hear the results with me tomorrow. Do you really need me there? I won't understand what they say, Tom hesitated. I don't want to hear the results alone, I exclaimed firmly. Reluctantly, Tom agreed to accompany me to the hospital the next day. When we heard the test results together, it was like a blow to the gut. The tests show signs of a stroke. We need to perform surgery immediately, the doctor informed us gravely. When I glanced at Tom beside me, he appeared just as shocked by the news. After a moment's contemplation, he turned to the doctor with a question. So, that means she can't come home today, right? That's correct. We'd like her to stay in the hospital today, and we'll schedule the surgery for either tomorrow or the day after, the doctor replied calmly. As for discharge, it will depend on her recovery post-surgery, but likely around a week. A week, I see. Okay, Tom nodded, absorbing the information. Leaving the consultation room with a heavy atmosphere hanging between us, Tom muttered, I'll make a quick phone call, and walked off. I overheard him speaking to someone in hushed tones. She won't be around for a week. This might be our chance, he said before returning to me. As he hastily prepared to leave, I tried to stop him. Wait, hold on. Aren't we going to discuss? We've heard everything from the doctor. We just have to trust the hospital now. It seems like a good place, so don't worry. You should rest. Good luck with the surgery, he interrupted with forced cheerfulness, then swiftly departed. I called after him about the surgery time, but he didn't respond. From then on, Tom never showed up at the hospital. Despite a successful surgery, days went by without a word from him. Calls to our house phone went unanswered, and his cell phone remained out of reach. The memory of that phone call now filled me with a sinking feeling. I logged into Tom's online credit card statement, and what I found was staggering. There were records of 2 airplane tickets to Hawaii, among other expenses, all while I anxiously remained alone in the hospital. Tom was evidently enjoying a lavish trip abroad with his mistress. But that wasn't all. The statement revealed tens of thousands spent on designer brands and dining at upscale restaurants, a level of expenditure I had never imagined. Digging deeper, I traced their accommodations and found her social media profile. It was filled with photos of her and Tom on romantic dates. She seemed certain they wouldn't be discovered. Confronted with overwhelming evidence, my anger towards Tom boiled over. Forgiveness was out of the question. I was determined to retaliate. As I lay in my hospital bed post-surgery, thoughts of revenge consumed me. Eventually, a plan formed, and with it, a newfound surge of energy unlike anything I had felt before. Before the surgery, anxiety had nearly crushed me. Now, my anger had transformed into a driving force. My sole focus was on recovering quickly to execute my revenge. Even the doctor who monitored my progress post-surgery was astonished. This recovery is remarkable. It's rare to see someone bounce back so swiftly, they remarked, with a faint smile. I have something urgent to attend to, so I'd like to be discharged as soon as possible, I informed the hospital staff, determined to accelerate my recovery. Miraculously, my progress exceeded expectations, and I was discharged earlier than planned. I chose not to inform my husband of the change in discharge date. There was no point. His phone would likely go unanswered anyway. Besides, I had no time to waste. I needed to prepare meticulously for my revenge. The first time Tom contacted me on my cell phone was on the original day I was supposed to leave the hospital. "Nancy, I just went to the hospital, and they said you've already been discharged." Yes, my recovery was faster than expected, so they let me go early. You could have let me know. It seems like my phone was off. My bad. Okay, I'll head home now. An hour later, Tom called again, clearly agitated. "Hey Nancy, what the hell is going on?" "What do you mean?" "Don't play dumb. Our house is gone." "Oh, you've noticed. I don't need it anymore, so I've cleared the land and put it up for sale. It's in a great location, so it should sell quickly." "What the hell are you talking about? You can't just sell our house. It's marital property." I didn't expect to hear marital property from you. What about the money in our joint bank account? That's marital property too. I've known for a while now that you've been spending it recklessly. Well, there are various circumstances related to my work. Related to work, huh? So going on an overseas trip with your mistress is also part of your job? How? How did you find out about that? You've been careless, haven't you? I can check the credit card statements too. I know about the plane tickets, the accommodations, the restaurants, and all the luxury items for women. Tom was left speechless, realizing I was fully aware of his actions. "I know exactly how much you've spent on your mistress," I said loudly. Tom fell silent. "You're the one who misused our marital property, so I'll be using the money from the house sale to cover what you've given to your mistress and as compensation." Compensation? But what about our living situation after selling the house? Tom stammered. "Don't tell me you expect us to keep living together. There's no way. I'm not staying married to a man who takes romantic trips while his wife is in the hospital." "Divorce? Wait, it was just a fling. I never wanted to divorce you." "If it was just a fling, why spend over $10,000? I want nothing to do with such foolishness. You chose a trip with your mistress over being by your wife's side during emergency surgery. To me, that says more than just a fling." "I can't live like this anymore," I continued, my voice firm. "You're not my precious husband anymore. I don't believe a word you say. I don't want to see your face again. I'll be moving into a new home and living freely. You can do whatever you want, even be with your mistress." "Are you serious?" Tom exclaimed. "You'll regret this," he added desperately. "What I regret is the 10 years I wasted with you," I retorted. "You've forgotten all I've done for you in those 10 years. Don't joke about providing for me," I continued with finality. "The money you wasted included our savings." Tom remained silent, realizing there was nothing more to say. "You spent all the money I earned from working, didn't you? Don't act all righteous now. Don't you have any sentimentality? Is this how you treat a husband you've been with for years?" Tom retorted. "That's rich coming from you. I'm just throwing your own words back at you. I shot back. As a kindness, I've put your stuff at the dump. If you don't hurry, the garbage collectors will take it. That's a lie, right? Damn it, don't screw with me. I'm done with you. Tom snapped and hung up abruptly. He was probably rushing to the dump at that very moment. When I disposed of the larger items, I placed the divorce papers on top, hoping he would notice them soon. After everything I had said, surely he would agree to our divorce. I was preparing to start anew, hoping never to hear from him again. But within a month, Tom called me again. What now? I have nothing more to discuss with you, I said, attempting to hang up. However, Tom's voice came through, shouting urgently. Wait, don't hang up. We haven't filed for divorce yet. I'm still your husband. Please listen to me. His unexpected plea left me with no choice but to hear him out. What do you mean we haven't filed for divorce yet? I asked, perplexed. After our conversation, I decided to live with her a bit longer. I wanted to observe before rushing into a divorce and remarriage. It felt like the right decision. Besides, she spends money like water and even talks about marriage. I listened silently, unsure how to respond to this sudden change in Tom's stance. I want to be a homemaker, but even with a ton of savings, it won't be enough if I marry her. I knew that even before you two started living together. I'm surprised you didn't notice her spending habits after showering her with gifts, I replied, incredulous. Tom, sounding oddly impressed, said, I see, Nancy. You're solid. From what you just said, I'm certain you're the only one who can be my wife. Excuse me, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Nancy, let's start over. You've been sick. It must be scary to be alone, right? Was this guy an idiot? He wouldn't understand unless I spelled it out for him. I took a deep breath and raised my voice. Scary? How dare you say that? The most scared I've ever been was when I was alone in the hospital on the day of my surgery. Even when I was trembling with fear before the surgery, even when I was enduring the pain afterward, you weren't there for me. I'm really sorry about that. I wasn't thinking straight. It's not just that time, is it? After all this, cheating on me. How can you say that? A lot has happened, but I can't do without you. You feel the same way, don't you? That's why you've been with me for 10 years, isn't it? Stop talking nonsense. I'm certain that I can't continue with you after what happened, I said firmly. I can't even imagine spending my life with someone I can't trust. So you don't want to give it another try? No, not at all. What about my feelings? My affection for you disappeared a long time ago. I still had feelings for you as a family member and thought we could spend the rest of our lives appreciating each other. But you trampled on those feelings. Tom fell silent. I left him with these final words. But I do have one thing to thank you for. Finding out you were cheating made me so angry that I felt like I couldn't afford to be sick. I decided to level the house and sell it before you returned from your affair. What the hell is that? Thanks to you, I recovered surprisingly fast. Even the hospital doctors were shocked. It seems my anger towards you became my motivation to keep going. So, thanks for that. Nancy, think this is over? No. Go to hell with your mistress. Goodbye. Without waiting for his reply, I hung up the phone and immediately contacted my lawyer. I couldn't stand postponing the divorce any longer. I had saved all the evidence of his infidelity, ready to submit to my lawyer. I was confident the divorce proceedings and the demand for compensation for emotional distress would go smoothly. By leaving everything to my lawyer, I wouldn't need to contact Tom anymore. To ensure he couldn't call me, I even changed my cell phone number. I doubted he would dare come to my workplace, but I had informed my colleagues about the situation just in case. Since Tom's bad reputation was already well known in the office, I believed they would alert me immediately if they saw him and help avoid any direct encounters. Everything proceeded exactly as I had planned. Tom, after hearing from the lawyer, obediently agreed to the divorce and accepted the demand for emotional distress compensation. As for his mistress, she apparently resigned herself to paying the compensation since she couldn't deny the affair. It seems she was ready to remarry Tom once our divorce was finalized, insisting on paying her part of the compensation from Tom's savings, treating it as if it belonged to both of them. At this rate, his savings would be drained in no time. He and his mistress seemed set to continue their irresponsible relationship, and I could see that Tom was headed for a tough time. Yet, I had no sympathy for him. He brought this on himself by cheating with a money-grabbing woman. On the other hand, I managed to rent an apartment of the same size as before using the money from selling our house and the compensation from the divorce. The fruitless 10 years I spent with Tom wouldn't come back, but now I could live my life without being controlled by him. If I ever remarried, it would be with someone who values trust. I made up my mind to follow that principle.